Hi students, this is Stan Miller again. This is lesson C, a little bit on technique and also following up on lesson A and B. This is what you need today. I added, this is from the last lesson, number 7. I'm also going to go back to using a little bit of black paint, Payne's Gray. I forgot to finish that. Payne's should say gray right there. All right, put that away. Let's review. On lesson A, I took some black here, quite a bit of paint. I put it down here like this. And then you clean your brush out, rinse it out, dry it off, and the brush lands here on the white. Clean the brush out more. I didn't clean it out. Squeeze the paint out of it like this. Get the brush down like this. So the brush has very little water, and we come in and we bump into the end of that, and we learn how to go from dark to light. Okay, so we reviewed how to get that dark and also to get certain colors. We'll come to this this picture in a second. Let's take a look at this here. If I'm painting this in black and white and I'm going to this here, I need to, the brush, in lesson A I talk about how much water. So this probably only has a 3-4 amount of water. And we come in here like that, we paint like that. But then if we come down here like this, still have a 3 amount of water, we use more paint. And if we come over here like this, we need even more paint, okay? So I covered this in lesson A. So let's go to color now for a second, just reviewing that, and then how to create a transition from dark to light. I covered that in A. And let's go to color for a second. So let's leave the black, clean the brush out. And this is something, I didn't exactly show you this in lesson B, but let's take some blue here. The blue was listed. We put blue here like this. Okay, that has about a 5 amount of water. Clean the blue out of your brush. Squeeze it out over here. You can see that there. Squeeze that out. Let's go to the red and get a little bit of red, quite a bit of red actually, and bump the red. Watch this, we're going to bump it right into the blue, and it causes it to turn kind of purple. Clean that red out. And now get rid of all that red. Now we're going to get some yellow here and bump the yellow, watch this, right into the edge here and go back and forth. Every one of these has about a 3 amount of water in the brush. Clean your brush out completely now. Now there's no paint in the brush. Land on the white and go like that. So practice this. Practice going dark to light. I'll do a little bit bigger. Watch, I'll do it quicker. We're going to take some blue here. You could do this with your black. Put your blue down here like that. You got to get rid of all that blue, about a 3 amount of water. Clean that out. Let's go to the red. You can do this with any colors. Put the red here like this, go back and forth, and then integrate and do a little crisscross thing in here to get these two, the blue and the red, to intermingle. That turns it into kind of a purple. Clean your brush out again. And without getting paint, go back here and has a 3 amount of water, go out like that. Clean the brush out. Now let's go to the yellow here, pretty strong, and put the yellow right in here like this and agitate those two like that. Clean the brush out again. Maybe get a little bit more nice bright yellow, put that right in here like this. Clean the brush out like that. And then the brush is cleaned out and agitate. Practice that exercise right there. It's one of the hardest, it looks so simple, it's one of the hardest techniques in watercolor. So practice creating a transition from dark to light. Here's another exercise you can do where you try to do it like in a circle. Create a circle here, create a C shape with blue, like this here. Again, does not have, the paint is soft and gooey. I cover the paint in lesson A and B. Clean the brush out, get rid of the paint, squeeze the paint out. Let's go to the nice gooey soft red. It's not watery here. Take a good look at this paint. I come in here, that is about 3 amount of water. The brush is not super wet, and we're going to run that red right in here, making a circle. Watch that. We run that right in here and integrate and do a little dance in here. We got to help the blue and the red integrate like that, okay? Clean the brush out again. The brush is cleaned out again. We're going to go back to the red, get more red, only have about 3 amount of water here. And we're going to now, we lost a lot of our red, but we're going to try to reestablish it here. Come in here like this here. Still, I'm not getting a good red. I had too much blue in my brush. We're gonna come in here again, get more bright, there we go, some nice bright red, there we go, and put that red right in here like, there we go. Stretching my circle out a little bit here like that. Now clean that out completely. And we only have about a 3 amount of water here. We go to our yellow here like this, got about 3 amount of water, and we're gonna bump, watch how I don't just go like this. Don't just go slow like this. That's not gonna do it. You gotta go, you gotta help it. Do a little jig, a little dance in here. Get these two colors to come together like that, and they start to integrate more. Clean the brush out again. The yellow now has gotten dirty because it bumped in the red. Get more yellow here like this here. And we're gonna add that yellow right in here like this, come down here like this, and pull that over like that. Clean the brush out one more time. Look at, avoid the dirty yellow. We only have a 3 amount of water. Get pure yellow right here. And this is how this ball circle ends up. Nice, bright yellow here. And so that creates a nice transition. Look at that beautiful color change. There's no edges in there. That's something you have to practice. You'll get all kinds of mistakes. Number one, if you have too much water, then too little water in your brush, then too much water, the paper gets too wet, paper gets too dry. These create all kinds of complications. And anyhow, practice that and practice the black and white. Let's do one with the black and white here. You make a circle with the black and white, much easier. Make a circle here like this. And this is where you start. Start with the black and white. That's Payne's gray. Clean the brush out, get rid of the paint. Same thing, so we land on the white, we agitate it. We have to help. We don't want to just go back and forth. Notice how my brush is doing a dance in there to get that paint to mix. Clean the brush out, dry it off. Now we go over here and the circle goes from dark to light. That's the fundamental right there. Those are the two fundamentals of watercolor technique. So a little bit on color mixing here. Also, I covered before I had the big splash. You can use 3 colors. That's all you need to get very close to matching a color. Here's my finger. I can start out with red and say, is that the color of my finger? And you say, well, that looks a little red to me. And you add some yellow to it. You only have 3 colors here. I'm not using black. You add yellow and red. That turns it orange. Now, a lot of people don't like this, but there's a lot of blue, at least in my skin. And we put some blue over the top of that. The blue will gray the orange. See how the orange is grayed like that? But it's turning a little brownish green there. So let's add just a little bit more red to it. You can see this over here. A little more red to this here. And now we're getting very close to the color of my skin. And now we take our squares here. Try not to knock the water over like I did last time. Take squares, put 1 square here, and 1 square over here like this, and you can see I'm pretty close, not bad. You get closer up here. It's a little bit too orange, so you come in here and add just a little bit more blue and red to it here, and that is going to turn that orange closer to the color of my finger right there. See that? That's about a 95% match. My color, if I come in here like this. So this is, I cover this in lesson, see that right there? I cover this in lesson B. Now let's actually apply it to a subject. So if back to this here, if we take this subject here, move this over a little bit, let's reposition here like this. And we're gonna come here like this, put the water here. I'm just using a paper towel to control my water. Now, let's practice going from dark to light on this face. With black and white, this is the way this works. You come in here with your black like this. It's very dark here on the side of the face. Let's say it comes here like this. Just like the circle, we come in here very dark here on the side of the face like that. See that right there? Just like our circle. Clean the paint out of the brush. Get rid of the water. We've got about 3 amount of water. And we land on the white area and we agitate this like this. We go back and forth and we create a nice transition and clean the brush out again, land on the white, And that's the technique we use to create all these dark to lights that are going on the face. Use it on the nose, use it everywhere. This dries, and then after it dries, you can continue to work on, let's do a little bit, if it's dry here, it'll come up here in the eyeball. So the eyeball here is right up here like this. You put a little, that's where the shadow is right there. Clean your brush out, dry it off, get very little water in the brush. The brush lands on the white area and goes back and forth, and it softens up that edge like that. Clean the brush out again, it gets dirty. The brush lands out here and agitates that edge and gets rid of that hard edge like that. And there is the beginnings of the eyebrow right there. If I'll pick this up and show it to you a little bit closer here so you can see this a little bit more closely here. If you look at the technique I'm using there on the side of the face, okay? And now let's go to the color one. So here you have a color one. And again, let's start out and take a look at the color here. We're trying to get that color. So if we're trying to match that color using red, yellow, and blue, just like my finger, you start out and say, well, is it red? You say, well, that's a little bit red for that. We thin it out, add a little bit, lift a little paint off and make it not so dark. I think I went a little bit too dark with the red. So not so much right here, not so much, go over here and I have about 3 amount of water. Let's go closer to that right there, okay? So that's pretty close, but it needs to have a little bit of blue in it. So we're gonna come in here, add a little bit of blue like that and say it's a little bit, now it's a little bit too blue, add a little bit of red to it like this, come through here like that, and maybe a touch of yellow, not much. And that is pretty close to the color in our picture. See that there? Those two colors are pretty close. So that's the first thing, is can we get the color? Then in blending these colors, so this is trickier than the black and white one because it's in color. But here is put this over here like this. So here's the side of the cheek, and I'll draw a little bit of line here. So you can see your cheek is right through here like this. Here, comes through here like this, comes over here like this. So if I want to put that color in there and I want a nice soft edge, I start out, just like in my practice thing, I'll start out here with some red, like maybe do that like that here, okay? So we got to change color as we come along. Get rid of that paint. Now let's just add some water to it. 3 amount of water, brush is cleaned out. Before that edge dries, we go along the edge like this. We put that in here like that. And then we add just a touch of yellow to it. Not much, but there's, at the very ending here, it's got a little bit of yellow right here. Put that right in here like that, okay? Now it gets a little bit darker here. Add some red and yellow here. And let's get just a little bit of blue too here. Add some color right through here like that. See, that gets darker right in through here. Maybe a touch more red and yellow. We put this color right in here like that. Maybe a touch more yellow. Just a matter of more red, yellow, and blue. We come through here like that. We put that color here like this. We run right into where the mouth is. Clean the brush out, fade it out. So we don't want a sharp edge here because the mouth has to be put in here. We go in there like that, and that's a pretty good beginning. To add a little bit of yellow here, not much, very little yellow. And we come along, and the brush, every time I touch the paper, I need to have the exact same amount of water. If I get too wet, too dry, that's going to create a problem. So if let's take a closer look at this here, and you look at my nice transition here, and look at the transition on her face. See that like that? That's what we're doing. Now, if you don't watch it, you're going to get an edge right here. Clean the brush out again, and make sure there's no paint in the brush. And the brush lands here, very little water, and lift up any edge that might start to form right through here. You need clean water. Sometimes your water gets dirty, and we simply can't lift that off. So that's ready to go. And then, of course, after this dries, we're going to get in here, and the background will be dark. I can't touch that because it's wet. But once you come in here like that, and you can start to see how my painting would start to come together right there like that. All right, so that's a little bit on the technique of mixing colors and creating soft transitions. I hope that's been helpful.